Well, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Talented Learning Executive Briefing Series. As you know, this is my favorite series of content because we get to travel around the world virtually and meet with the world's best learning systems solutions, LMS solutions there are. And today's no different. We've got NetExam, and NetExam is probably the premier partner and channel learning management system in the world. They've been leading the space, leading this vertical inside of learning systems for, well, we'll find out, probably over a decade now. We got the executive team and founders here that are going to take us through the business and take us through a great demonstration. And you'll see why exactly channel and partner organizations all over the world are deploying the NetExam solution. So Brett, Himanshu, it's all yours. Welcome to the Talented Learning.
Great. Thanks, Jonathan. Thanks for your time. So I'm going to do a brief overview of the history of our company and our focus, and then I'm going to hand it off to Himanshu, who's going to dive straight into product demo, because I know that people want to see the product. So we like to say that NetExam is more than just an LMS, just because of the deliverables we provide companies that are channel focused. So businesses out there that are deriving a majority of their revenue through a distributed channel have specific needs that they need to achieve through those individuals that are representing their brand. And it's a very important position. They want to make sure that these people that do not work directly for them are representing their company, their products, in a way that makes the buying experience enjoyable for the end user. So a little bit about our company. We were established in 2004, headquartered in Dallas, an office in New York. We really provide learning management, virtual learning, and social learning in the cloud. And we primarily focus on channel partner and customer training. I would include that internal sales training, but it's very much a sales training focused LMS. So most of our customers use it in that vein. We've been working with companies for years, some of the largest. We've worked with Oracle, with Dell, we've got Royal Canin, Bobcat, McAfee. McAfee is one of our oldest customers. They've been using the system continuously for over 15 years. So the application has been tested by some pretty large organizations. One of our largest accounts, Oracle, had 145,000 users on the platform at one time. So the product has been really pushed to the limits, and it's been very beneficial to the relationship that these companies and manufacturers maintain with these distributed channel partners. There are a lot of integrations, and this isn't even all of them. We integrate with PRM systems such as Salesforce, Oracle, Microsoft Dynamics, Oracle Fusion. We integrate with most of the larger online live classroom systems such as GoToMeeting, WebEx, and Zoom. CloudShare and Revelo and VMware for remote virtual labs, Sprout Video Vidyard for video hosting, ProctorU for remote proctoring. We can accept payment in almost any currency on the planet via PayPal, Chase Payment Tech. We've got SemPost as well. We've got mobile gifting through Gift, and a number of solutions as well for SSO. At the end of the day, our system is very much white labeled, so that the end user doesn't really ever know the name NetExam. Our goal is to make our product look exactly like the PRM system that our customers provide for their partners, that provide a suite of other things that they're making available to them. SSOs are really a critical part of that connection. We've been recognized in this industry, especially by Talented Learning, thank you, for a number of years as being one of the top really partner LMSs out there on the market. And that was our focus. And I remember the day that Himanshu and I had this conversation almost 2 decades ago about the decision we wanted to make to focus on specific channel partner training. And we decided that day that we were going to turn down business opportunities with HR departments. That wasn't the niche that we were looking for. We wanted to have a very focused product that met a specific need for a specific group. And we turned away a lot of business through the years. But we also felt that if we took on the HR training systems, that we would number one, be competing with every other LMS on the market, but also it would basically dilute our focus. And by only bringing on channel partner customers, it's allowed us to only add functions and features that benefit channel partner organizations. And it's really pretty striking how well that fits. So lots of LMSs out there in the market. They want to go after the channel partner dollars, but they really lack the focus, I believe, necessary by having to meet the demands of HR training in general and general employee training.
Yeah, and even if they started off on the extended side, they hear those sirens of employee and HR training and steer their boat right into the rocks and dilute their funding. So.
Well, there's a lot of contracts out there floating around for that type of business. I mean, it takes, I would say it took us a lot of discipline to just say no. Sure. And we were basically getting calls and referring these people to our competitors because we did not feel that focus would really help. And it took a long time to pay off, but it's paid off very well since then.
Yeah. Well, just by all these badges right here, that focus, I've been watching the innovation just happen year after year after year down this vein. And so that was a good choice to stay away from that. All right, let's go. I derailed here.
So the NetExam LMS has we have a very flexible user interface, which means that we provide the APIs necessary to connect to our UI or to your UI to our platform. And in some cases, we can even call directly from the style guides of the customer. So if they update a style guide on their system, our site automatically updates with that change. So our goal is to, again, really hide in the background and be a white label product. This is how AT&T delivers our platform to via their PRM portal. Stanley, skip down to Thermo Fisher, Honeywell. It's the branding and the style can be updated to look like any organization. That's really the goal. And there's a lot more flexibility than this. You can really kind of pretty much do anything you desire. I think a lot of people do adopt our basic architecture just because it's been honed over the years and they just like the way the data is delivered. Mm-hmm. Again, Priority Dispatch, another organization where they've got their courses and dashboarding. Sabre, a local company here in Dallas, they run all the flight software and travel software. Has been a wonderful customer of ours, and we've expanded quite deeply into that organization. On the back end, the ability to set team goals, which means you're not just setting the goals for an individual, but an entire channel partner organization. And those goals can be set by the manufacturing company, but also these goals can be tracked by the partner organization themselves. So you can create a manager within your partner organization. They can log in and see how their students are doing. They can assign their students to courses. They can help them achieve the goals that are being required by the manufacturer, because there's likely some type of benefit to reaching these different partner levels, whether it's discounts or MDF funds, things of that nature. So it's important to expose this information to everybody that needs to have it. Individual and group reporting, the ability to filter down by region, by geo, by company, by division, and actually get back overviews of the individuals and the levels of certification they've reached. And I can even go into a specific individual and see what they've accomplished. So it's important to display this data to the company that is using NetExam, but also to the partner that is logging in and having their employees trained through the platform. Social learning. So we developed an internal product for social learning. And the idea is to expose the internet basically as a resource library, and then enlist your partners to become content aggregators. And these are organized in interests that follow the interest of the manufacturer themselves. To give you a great example, partners that sell Dell systems, they have a lot of knowledge about the products, but maybe someone finds an article on how to get the best insurance and shipping opportunities when you're shipping product. That's really not a specific item that Dell would be interested in, but the people that are partners and are selling and buying Dell systems would probably be interested in that type of information. So it's complementary information that can help in the learning process. And there's ways also within the platform to set goals of social learning and to reward people with points on their interaction with the content. And we do see some of our customers will actually use their own content and data and run it through this mill, basically, which allows the important information to move up to the top, and the dead information that no one's interested in to fall away.
Mm-hmm. And what's the relationship, Brett, between the social product and the LMS? Are they like separate places to go? Are they?
No, they're integrated together. So you can set these goals up within the LMS platform. And really, we look at training in 3 different levels. You have formal, which is classes that you have to take and exams that you have to complete. We've got social, which is really interacting with people of similar interest. And then we have informal. And informal is, we'll dive into that a little bit later. And informal is a way for us to track things that happen that can be considered learning events that might not be considered a course or a lesson or a quiz, right? So maybe you have a breakout session. Maybe you have a lunch and learn. Maybe you have a ride along with someone that has been in the company longer and you're learning from them for a week. These type of things we have the ability to give people credit for those events that are happening. And the great thing is that you don't have to create new content there. You're basically just giving people credit for the knowledge transfer that's happening that in an event that might not be considered a formal learning event. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
It does. Where does you also have great capability? I know from one of my clients around the documentation of assignments or doing things with your hands, or actually doing that. Where does that fall into the 3 buckets, or is that a 4th bucket?
That's more formal learning, and we originally developed that for the first responders. So we do have a division that we supply our product to firemen training, basically across the country. And in that case, they needed a way to, you can take enough exams and bubble sheets as a fireman student, but sooner or later you got to put on a pair of boots, climb a ladder, and spray foam. And what we did is we developed a tablet app where you can watch and record individuals performing those tasks. And that does 2 things. Number one, it's a real good learning event to show people, okay, you didn't pass, and here's why. I've got a video of you doing this action. Or in some cases, it's a CYA thing where it's like, okay, you did pass, I'm saving this. And oh, by the way, in the future, if there's a lawsuit involved and somebody says that I wasn't trained properly, I have proof here that you actually did this and you did it the right way. And that you got your grade not from a bubble sheet, but from actually physically doing this. So there's an advantage to the company as well to have videos of people performing certain training tasks like that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Maybe more holistically from a learning standpoint, I do see a big trend in the industry of just going from knowledge of knowing stuff to actually showing the application of it. So
sure.
That next level seems to be popular in channel and partner and elsewhere in learning for sure.
And absolutely. And there's another section in here. Another slide I'm going to show you that will kind of pertain to that. We built up a personal learning advisor, and this, I got this idea from the counselor in our high school that probably didn't do a whole hell of a lot, but they certainly tried. And the idea here is that you can come in and create your role, what kind of products you're interested, where your industry is, who you sell to, and then hit complete learning plan. And the system will take all that information and basically build a learning path for you to help you get where you need to go. This helps for larger manufacturers that have very large product offerings, global in scale, and have, huge, well, I don't want to say huge, but have large course catalogs. Sometimes it can be confusing of, okay, what should I take? Where should I go? But in this platform, you can go in and tell the system everything you need to do or want to do. And then the system will basically custom build a learning plan for you. Mm-hmm. Very popular.
It's smart enough to do that. What, on a customer basis? Is it configurable, or?
It is configurable.
It would have to be, I guess.
Yeah. So the company that's using NetExam, they set that up in the back end. And then the relationship between the selection process and the courses.
Cool.
Very helpful. On the admin side, and I'm going to skip through this because Amatsu is really going to dive into the admin side, but we've got a ton of reporting, a great analysis of understanding what individuals and groups are doing, and I'll let him run through that when we hand off here in a sec.
All right.
From an LMS standpoint, we go above and beyond, but we've got a lot of the basic things that everybody has. SCORM compliant. We support all aspects of instructor-led training, learning plans, certification, gamification. just-in-time training. We've got mobile apps that are completely branded for the organization for downloading training, learning advisors, social learning, micro-learning. I don't want to bury too much time in this because I think most people are familiar with a lot of these functions and features. On the mobile training side, it's important to put training where people are. And of course, people are on their phones quite a bit more. So the ability to do quite a bit of different features that you can deliver natively through a mobile phone. We've even got flashcards, all sorts of little things that can help you during the day push information out to your students.
That's great.
We spoke earlier about the informal learning tracking. This is the way that you can give points to people for accomplishing features that they're doing that are outside the traditional formal LMS. And again, that could be lunch and learns, team meetings, ride-alongs, all sorts of different times where knowledge is transferred and you just want to give people credit for that effort. Again, we talked a little bit earlier about micro-learning. There's your flashcards. You can push out 2 or 3 flashcards every couple of days just to kind of keep in the front cortex of your students. And the idea is to create some level of retention by engaging with them more often. One of the more popular things we have, especially in the channel space, is video challenges. And the idea is that the student can record themselves on their phone or on their laptop, like we're doing here, basically making a pitch for selling a product. To see how that individual represents the product and what things they're talking about and features they're pushing. And then that video can be saved, and then it can be graded on the admin side. We also do a speech to text retrieval, and then that can be analyzed. And we also even have a social element where all the videos can be basically grouped together, and other students can watch those videos and rate them. And so they can actually help decide who did the best job. Also a great way to develop great content as well. So you have the person that does the best job on their video. That's a great opportunity to use that and turn around and have something that you can use to explain to other people really how to do the pitch. This is a very popular thing right now.
No, I bet. I like it.
We've got integrations with a number of platforms, but just to kind of go over the integration with Salesforce, we talk about how we share data with them. We also track vouchers and entitlements within our platform. Hamatsu will talk a little bit about that. Things like lead generation, course certification, all that data is shared real time, and we even have a Lightning component to deliver that as well. We're available in 28 different languages, and we've got a CDN globally that we copy and can copy our customers' courseware to that allows the students to connect to the nearest server and have quicker download speeds whenever they're consuming content. Most of our customers use training to manage entitlements. It's a stick and carrot relationship. If you complete training X, then you will get X privilege. Maybe that's leads. Maybe I've got an important product and I know that my certified partners are closing more deals, so I don't want to waste leads on people that aren't certified. So I'm using training as a way to identify which of my partners are more committed to my brand, and I'm giving them extra privileges. It could be increased MDF funds, more leads, rebates, discounts, better margins on deals they're closing. If I know that I'm getting a higher close rate from certified partners, then I want to get deals in the hands of my certified partners. And because of our integrations with Salesforce and Microsoft and Oracle Fusion, these privileges can be earned instantaneously. I mean, the second you hit that button and you get a passing grade, we can reach into Salesforce, flip the switch, and have the lead start flowing to the partner organization. And instant gratification is really pretty critical, I think, in this industry. Great quote from one of our clients at Dell. They did some research and they basically compared and overlaid their revenue data on top of their learning data and found out that their certified partners were 143% more productive than their non-certified partners. That gave them the tools to go back to their C-level executives and say, hey, we'd like to spend a little bit more on this group and a little bit less on this group. And then encourage the people that are non-certified become certified to gain those extra privileges. And that's the end of my pitch here.
That's the end of your pitch.
I was going so well that ended so abruptly. I feel.
That's it. Let's see it. Let's see it. So Brett's the founder of the company. Hamatsu, you're the chief technical officer of the organization. And you've been uncharacteristically quiet, Hamas.
I'll talk now. Brett, if you want to stop sharing, I could share my screen and get to the demo.
If I can figure that out, there we go.
Oh,
There we
you
go.
did. Awesome. Let me see if I can figure this out. John, Brett, can you see my screen?
Okay.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Fantastic. So I'm going to do the demo on this fictitious company that we use, APEC. APEC sells security software, like several of our customers. So this is APEC's learner portal. When students log in, they do not see anything different from what APEC looks like. We are able to match what our customers' logos, colors, themes, web properties, exactly the way it is. And one of the reasons that we can do it so well is that when we built this learner portal, we made an early decision to build an API first. And then our UI developers use that same API to build a learning interface on top of that. So in cases when a customer comes to us and asks us to build a learning interface that is pretty much like their website, we're able to reuse the same existing API calls, but then build an interface on top of that. So that made a pretty easy task for us to do. The other thing that we do is when we build these interfaces, we build these all templatized. So if you don't like a word, if you don't like a color, you can log into the NetExam administrative interface, and you as a customer will be able to change it yourselves. So we do like to give you that flexibility of self-service. It's not that we will not do it for you, but you do have the ability to change it yourselves if you wanted to. And of course, we support single sign-on mechanisms, SAML, OAuth, the usual culprits. So if your user is already logged into another system, they can access the system without having to log in again. And we also have the ability to embed this portal within Salesforce.com or Microsoft Dynamics, Oracle, Sales Cloud, etc., so that this is available right there within the PRM portals without them having to come to a different application. Another thing that's very popular is that the fact that we have the ability to identify who the user who's logging in. And based on that, we can co-brand the application between your company and the channel partner company. Some of our customers who have really large channel partners really like that feature to give their large channel partner companies a special feeling when they see their logo as well as the manufacturer company's logo right there.
Mm-hmm.
Scrolling a little further down here, you'll see other widgets that we have available within the application. So there's a My Training widget, a points leaderboard, featured training widget, etc. So when it comes to these widgets, you as the learning administrator have the ability to pick from around 30 different widgets that we have available. You can drag and drop them to a canvas on the NetExam administrative interface, and that gets published to the learner homepage here. And then you also have the ability to create different learner types. Maybe this is a internal sales team, or maybe this is a customer or a partner. And they may have different functionality needs when they log in. So you do have the ability to customize it by dragging and dropping different widgets into their portal. So we have gamification built into the system. When learners do different training activities, we award them points. And the points leaderboard show the points here. We award them points for taking formal training as well as social or informal learning, the stuff that Brett was talking about earlier. And once you reach a certain number of points, we can allow you to have a badge. And the students can have these badges and share this in social sites. We also have rewards available. So we do have integrations with rewards catalogs, so that when a learner achieves a certain number of points, they can go to that reward catalog and redeem those points to whatever swag or whatever rewards the manufacturer would want to give out to these learners. And another widget I want to talk about that's available on the homepage is what we call the question of the day. So the question of the day widget is a form of micro-learning. What we do is every day the learner is logged in, we pull a question from a course that they have done previously and show the question to the learner. The idea here is not to reward them or to penalize them for getting this right or wrong, but to serve as a memory retention mechanism. We use a algorithm called the space repetition algorithm, which has scientific research to show that improves retention of facts. So this is an ability for you to push questions to the learners and help them remember these things. With our mobile app, we are pushing these questions we do a daily push of these questions. So they have a question available for them to answer on a daily basis. I'm going to go and click on to the next tab, the training tab. So pretty self-explanatory, shows all the training that you're currently enrolled in so that you can take off where you left last time. I'm going to go ahead and click on this one, which is called the APEC Partner Onboarding Certification. So in addition to courses, we also have support for certification. This particular certification, the onboarding certification, is something that whenever a partner is onboarded, is automatically enrolled in. So they are enrolled in this certification, given a certain number of days to complete it by. And we do have the ability to pull partner attributes from a PRM, CRM, and based on what they have in the PRM, automatically enroll them in different certifications. So in this one, I'm enrolled in the partner onboarding certification based on my attributes, maybe in salesforce.com. And then I'm supposed to complete this in a certain number of days. The certification itself, once it expires, we do have a recertification workflow, which may require me to take a certain number of courses. The courses that I have to take to recertify can be a delta or a difference of courses that's available now since the last time I took it, so that they don't have to go through this entire set of courses again. Sometimes there might be some continuing education requirements I need to take to keep my certification up. So our certification process and our recertification workflow is also very flexible to accommodate all of that stuff. This certification has many activities. It has e-learning courses, a hands-on virtual lab, an instructor-led course, and so on. And we, like Brett was talking about earlier, when it comes to e-learning, we support SCORM, AICC, XAPI, all those regular standards that's available. Where instructor-led classes, we support both on-premise classes as well as virtual classes. For virtual instructor-led classes, we have integrations with GoToMeeting, WebEx, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, etc., so that you don't even have to log into those web conferencing providers when you create these classes. We will connect to the API when you create the class and create a session. And what's also nice is at the end of the session, they're going to connect, find out who attended the class, and we'll give them class attendance credit so that you don't have to mark attendance. For instructor-led training classes, on-premise classes, we allow you to do all the scheduling of the logistics, like scheduling instructors, venues, even training props like projectors can be completely managed using our application. We even have the ability to find an instructor, not only who's an instructor who's available, but based on the class, we can also show the instructor who's physically closest to the class. So if there's an instructor available that's only 2 miles away, we would show that that instructor is the most most likely to get the class and recommend that instructor for that particular class. We also, when a student enrolls in a class, we send them a QR code. And then the instructors have an instructor mobile app that they can use to scan that QR code. And based on that, students get credit for attending the class. We have on-the-job training, like Brett was talking about earlier. We have rubrics built into our evaluator app so that when students perform these hands-on tasks, the evaluators, the subject matter experts, can record the students doing this and also make marks on notes on how well they do a task, grade them based on the standard rubric that we provide that they can associate with the class. What I'm going to do here is focus on this particular course, which is what we call a sales video challenge or a sales pitch class in this instance. So the idea here is that a learner would come in, enroll in this course, and learn how to make a perfect sales pitch. And then the students can record their video using NetExam itself, because we have a built-in webcam recorder that can record it, or they can create the video offline and upload it to the system. And then we can also allow them to create the video on a mobile device and then record it using a mobile app, or even upload it using any of their mobile devices. Once uploaded, what we do is we use an AI algorithm to transcribe the video. So this video was created by my coworker, Drew Gans. And then, as you can see here, we were able to automatically transcribe this video. And what happens here is once the video is transcribed, and if we have sufficient graded submissions by subject matter experts, we are able to create an AI model which would associate the text that you see here with the grades that the learners have received for those submissions. And based on that, we're able to come up with suggested grades from different parts of the rubric for the learner. So this says that according to this video, this learner's responsiveness should be at a level of 9 out of 10, whereas their product knowledge should be at a 6, etc. So these suggested responses we make available for the subject matter experts to kind of look at and either accept, or if they want to override it, they can. Some of our customers who have large sales pitch courses have made it automatic. After they've trained our AI model with sufficient data, we're able to train the AI model. And after that, they let it go because the model becomes pretty accurate based on the previous gradings from their subject matter experts.
Interesting. Interesting.
Sure. Then I close that. Just quickly going through some of the other features. We have a catalog where you can come and search.
Mansu, sorry to interrupt. How many, what's the data set you need to make that work? Is it like 100 videos, 1,000 videos?
It has, we've seen success when you reach about 2,500 videos, John. So we know that that at times it's challenging. So we're working with a customer right now who wants to make this available to their available in their system sooner than that. So we are working on ways to come up with to allow the subject matter experts to kind of seed or kind of pre-grade the videos based on some keywords. So if this set of keywords appear this many times, maybe their product knowledge should be at a higher level, etc. So we're kind of trying to solve this cold start problem of not having sufficient videos. But for our larger customers, we had a really large customer. We had about 60,000 users going through a video challenge on a weekly, on a 2-week period. For them, we were able to, using real data, we were able to build a really accurate system.
Wow, wow, really interesting, really interesting. And real quickly, what's the use case of a virtual lab?
A virtual lab is when you want to, let's say you're a security software company and you want your learners to actually work with something kind of dangerous, like log into a virtual machine that may have a virus, and your task is to get rid of the virus. So obviously, it's pretty dangerous to infect somebody's machine with a virus and ask them to get rid of it. So a virtual lab or a virtual machine running on a virtual lab is an ideal situation for that. So in that situation, they create this virtual lab which has this virus running. The learner would log into the virtual lab through a browser-based interface. And then they have remote desktop access also through a standard browser. And then their task is to identify what that virus is and to get rid of the virus. This is an actual use case one of our security customers did use.
Wow, interesting. Great.
And it can also be used for any software configuration. If you want to teach them how to configure software on a virtual machine, that would be ideal.
Yeah, and even the log files from that virtual machine can be used for grading purposes.
Exactly.
So it's very convenient.
Exactly.
Would organizations have that in place before they meet you, or do you bring that to the table as part of a solution? How would that work?
This is something we actually worked with them in bringing to a solution. The virus one was something that we built with them. We had virtual lab previously, and they were using virtual labs to like installing their software. But what was different was actually doing something dangerous with an actual live virus.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Sure. We have a catalog, and I'm going to focus on some of our, mostly on our channel partner training features. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this Manager Access tab. So I'm logged in as a user who is a manager of the California Tech Supply, the channel partner company of APEC. Because of that, I'm able to access this view. So the California Tech Supply company itself has two subdivisions. So I'm able to click on it and see the users within the Northern California division as well as the Southern California division. So what I have here is delegated access just to the users who are within my organization. So I can see what their user transcripts are. I can see if they're enrolling in courses they should be enrolling. I can go ahead and change their course enrollments to courses that I think are better for us as a channel partner organization, etc. I also have the ability to track informal learning. Maybe there was a informal learning activity like a lunch and learn about APEC security that I conducted. And I would like all my channel partners channel partner individuals who are, attended this to get credit for it. So I can come here and create a record saying I had a lunch and learn on this particular date, and these are the participants, and I would like them to get credit within their transcript for this participation. I do have the ability to manage the personal attributes so that I have dedicated access. And another interesting thing is what we call the ability for the designated manager to grade an individual on an activity. Brett was talking about hands-on activities earlier. So sometimes with these channel partner organizations, they're obviously remote organizations. So if I have a company that is maybe based in London, and I would still like them to do a sales pitch or go on with a hands-on physical activity like configure a device or repair an instrument that's broken. I can still create a hands-on activity, and I can make that channel manager the subject matter expert or the examiner for this course. So they can come and grade their own people based on a rubric, and then that gets reported to the system. We also allow them to track continuing education hours, maybe like attending a conference or writing an article, some sort of industry-related task that they do that the manager feels that they should get continuing education hours. They can add from this form. And we also allow them to request training if they feel that they want an ILT class in London because they have this many people. We allow them to send in requests through this tab. And another thing that we have is this concept of goals. So obviously, training goals for an individual is something that's very common for a learning management system. But this one's a little different. This one is a training goal that you assign to an entire group. So this one says that if you want to become a bronze certified partner, you would need one person to finish the onboarding certification and 5 people to finish the mobile cloud performance certification and so on. So it's a collective goal that you assign to your channel partners. And then me as a channel partner manager can come and see our company's progress towards maybe getting gold certified. So I see that only 25% of the way they're already bronze certified and so on.
Wow.
And
listeners, in case you're wondering, there's nothing like that elsewhere in the world that I've ever seen.
Oh,
this right here. This is the only example that I've seen in LMSs that does this.
Thanks, John. We do integration with the partner tier requirements in PRMs like Salesforce.com, etc. So the training requirements, when they've completed it, we send this information to Salesforce. So now Salesforce knows that this reseller has completed the training requirements to be bronze certified. We know for a fact that to go up the partner tier, you need to do more than training. So we cannot control everything, but we can let you know from the training side how much you've completed, and then Salesforce can, or Microsoft Dynamics, Oracle Fusion can automate the rest based on the requirements coming in.
As we used to say in the 80s, coolness.
We said cool beans, but that was the early 80s.
We have badges. So when learners complete different activities, we can give them different badges. And a learner can actually decide to share this with the social applications like Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. And they can also turn this on and off. And we also have this concept that we call a public portfolio. Public portfolio is a web page, kind of like a profile page the learner has, where the learner can share or show off all the badges and certifications that they've got from your organization. So they don't need somebody to access the public portfolio. They do not require a NetExam login. So they can add this public portfolio link to their CVs, to their resumes, to their LinkedIn profiles, etc. So they get to gloat of all the training achievements that they've got. But this is indirectly advertising your training program as well. So it's kind of a win-win for both parties here. Mm-hmm. And next, I want to focus on what we call the learning analysis or learning impact analysis. So what we see is when it comes to training your channel partners, some of these channel partners may not be representing just you. They may be representing other manufacturers, other organizations who may be competing with you. So yeah, you as a manufacturing company is kind of competing for their training time. So it is, in our experience, it's very helpful for the manufacturing company to show the channel partner organization the impact of taking your training. If you as a manufacturer can show them the ROI of their training investment hours, saying if you spend this many hours on training, this is the additional benefits. Maybe it's sales, maybe it's another benefit that you can get out of that. That becomes very helpful to convince them to invest, to help them invest more time in taking your training, because you know some of your other manufacturers, your competing manufacturers, are trying to do the same as well. So we built this learning analysis to help the channel partner managers to see the impact of training. So what we're trying to do here is to see if the training has an impact on performance. And by performance, we're talking about sales. So we're talking about how much sales these individuals who work for the channel partner organizations can bring in. So these are some of the people who work for the California tech supply organization I represent. So Daniel is my best salesperson, my best performer. He has a sales rank of 1. But at the same time, I see that his learner rank is number 2. So he's not my best learner, but at the same time, he's my best salesperson. And then I can look at Sam, who has a sales rank of 2, learner rank of 3. And here's Sarah. Sarah is my best learner calculated by the training that she's taken, but she's number 3 in the learning rank. So
she needs to get out in the field.
She should, yeah.
She's book smart. She's not street smart.
and that's a really good point. And there may be many people like that. Where people, training has an impact. I mean, training can help you, but not all the way. So it takes much more than training to make a great salesperson. But we can control only what we can control, so we can show how training impacts these people. Now, if I go ahead and click on Daniel here, I can kind of compare Daniel's training versus Sarah's training. So maybe Daniel is taking a set of courses and Sarah is not, which is kind of helping Daniel sell more. Or maybe Daniel is taking a lot of informal training or social learning, and that's kind of what's helping Daniel. We're not saying that taking all of these courses will help you be a better salesman, but we're showing that we're showing you these data points, that this may have an impact, kind of showing the correlation here. We're not implying causation. So going back here, some of the other stuff that we have here are learning versus performance charts. So we can see here for this organization, when the number of course completions go up, to see if the sales revenue actually goes up or not. In this example, it does. So there's a positive correlation, a great thing. Now, if you see a situation where when course completions go up, your sales revenue is not going up, that is something of concern. It doesn't necessarily say that your training is terrible or anything like that, but we know that there are many factors affect sales. We are completely aware that sales is a very complex process which has multiple factors affecting it. But there are statistical methods to look at scenarios where there are multiple factors and see if a given factor is a primary factor or not. So that's the kind of data that we're trying to show here to help you see the correlation and to see if you want to dig further and see, identify if a certain set of courses is having an impact and bring it to the top. This next one shows like a cumulative view of total sales versus total sales over time to see whether it's going up or not, and which shows like a positive correlation here as well. And the third one kind of shows you a score that you would get from a training program versus sales revenue. So we're trying to see here if people who get a higher score, are those people, are better salespeople or not? It may or may not be. But if you can find a training program where the sales score is kind of differentiating between your better sales performance and your low sales performance, that would be a really helpful gauge or a measure to see if your salespeople are sales ready or not. Maybe people, when they get a higher score, maybe that would indicate that they're sales ready. But again, these are just code data points that we can find correlations and show to you for you to make decisions. And the last section, we show popular courses. So the idea, the concept here is to show the courses that are popular for your organization. So I can say that these are the Introduction to Apex Security and Fusion and Custom Courseware are the 3 courses that are popular within my organization. But I can now compare this with the rest of the channel partners for APEC and see what are more popular from other courses. So we're trying to help you see whether the courses you're taking are those the popular courses for the rest of the population or not. So that you may want to consider taking another course. This is also a place where we can kind of look at a given course, look at the impact a particular given course has done, and to see if that course is a primary factor in improving sales revenue or not. And if so, we can bring it to the top and make APEC administrators aware of that. Then moving on, we have a search and transcripts and profile. I don't want to spend too much time there because that's pretty other transcripts and profile are pretty common with I'm sure your audience with their experience in other learning management systems. John, I want to pause there, see if you have any questions or any other areas I can dive deeper into.
No, that was a good hour. We just put together learning about your organization. I'm sure we could keep going. I've been part of real life sales processes. I've seen you go on for 3 hours or more at a time. So I know we've got some depth here behind what we saw, but audience, now you see what I mean about the pure focus on channel and partner learning and all the different innovations that go along beside that. One of the challenges of partner and channel learning is that it has a lot of feel of employee learning to it because they act like employees, even though they're not your employees, which right. Makes channel and partner learning in particular difficult because the requirements get deep into a lot of standard employee type requirements. But what you saw here today from the goals plan, setting up the bronze, silver, and gold and tying that and the integration into PRM. So in our recent survey, we asked about PRM integration, and we had just a small single-digit percentage of vendors as part of this whole top 40 that even think about PRM, but just the level of data that you're tracking and pushing and pulling there is pretty impressive and deeper to most, allowing for all this to sing. I see a lot of Salesforce. I don't ever see Dynamics or Oracle Fusion very often in competitive situations. So, integrations that are super important to partner and channel, and those are leading systems in that, becomes mandatory where, a lot of the standard generalists just don't have the second tier past a pretty light Salesforce integration. Virtual labs, I know I've seen it. I can't come up with an example right now in my head. So, that's pretty unique. The whole concept of the video challenges from a sales standpoint is really cool. I've seen specialized companies that do just that piece as a whole company, so that you have that built in as just part for the partner and channel as a good value and have to go out to their other system. I love the concept of the rubric. I love the concept of the AI grading on that video. And the social grading and using that as a way to generate content. 2,500 that's a lot. So technology is going to get smarter, and nice to see you taking those steps to try to get that number down, to democratize that even further, using the social learning platform and just tying that into everything, and being able to tie that to gamification and points is really cool. The question of the day is just a requirement that surfaces time and time again in my client base, and it's not something that's very common, and that Where I do see it, I see it on a mobile app. I've never seen it. Can't think of a time where I've seen it on the web app or the web version of it too. So it's nice just to bring that into the standard LMS, which is still what most people use. And just the management, I think, of ILT and VILT and the QR codes and the equipment and the processes and qualified instructors and local instructors and putting all that together it solves another big problem in channel organizations. So I'm running on probably more than you guys did on 28 languages. Awesome. But that's a really comprehensive system that does exactly what you designed it to do, which is enable partner and channel organizations to grow partners from nothing to $10 million of revenue, and isn't that the story you used to always tell me, Brett? The regular LMSs are to get you from the graduation to the boardroom, and your LMS is to take a partner that's average and turn them into a $10 million a year partner or more. And you can see how that all works.
Yeah, from the mailroom to the boardroom is the HR LMS.
That's the one I'm looking for.
Our goal is to get you from 2 million to 10 million in revenue as a partner organization.
That's the quote I'm looking for. That's the quote. All right. Well, there you have it, folks. Now you see why this is my favorite series of content. NetExam, Brett, Himanshu, thanks so much for spending the hour with us and showing us what you're up to. Just love the pace of your innovation and your focus in the market strategy and your dedication to extended enterprise in general, which is why we founded Talented Learning, to expose that. So I couldn't be any more happier getting this update and seeing all your progress. Listeners, thanks for tuning in to another episode, and you can find more of our independent resources at talentedlearning.com. Have a great day.